The night was cold, and the neon lights of Los Santos flickered over the restless waves of the beach. Jacob Thompson pulled his hoodie tighter around his face as he walked barefoot along the shoreline. Just a week ago, he had a job, a small apartment, and a future. Now, he had nothing but the clothes on his back and an empty stomach. It all started when his boss accused him of stealing money from the cash register at the auto shop. It wasn't true, but the evidence was against him. Fired on the spot. Then, his landlord, who never liked him, threw him out for missing rent. His so-called friends? They stopped answering his calls the moment he needed help. Now, Jacob was a street boy. Just another lost soul in the city of dreams. He had spent the last few nights sleeping behind dumpsters, under bridges, or wherever he could find shelter. But tonight, he wanted something different. He wanted to hear the waves as he slept, to feel something peaceful in a world that had turned against him. As he reached the beach, he spotted a lifeguard tower. It wasn't much, but it would keep him off the cold sand. He walked the steps, careful not to make noise. The city never slept, but he didn't want trouble from the cops or some random drunk looking for a fight. He decides to light a fire at the beach before getting back to his profound home for the night. He begins standing just a step from the fire to warm himself. He stared at the stars, remembering the nights when he was a kid, dreaming of a better life. He had come to Los Santos to escape his past, to start fresh. Now, he was at rock bottom. He sees a team of young life college boys and girls at a beach blaze and decides to join them. But unfortunately, they all avoid him and begin moving away in different direction, but something inside him refused to break. He wasn't done yet. Tomorrow, he would find food. Maybe a job. Maybe a chance. For now, he closed his eyes and listened to the waves, letting them carry away the weight. The morning sun warmed Jacob's face as he woke up on the lifeguard tower, the waves crashing gently below. His stomach growled, reminding him that another day of survival had begun. He stood up, stretched, and walked down the boardwalk, hoping to find anything that could turn his luck around. "Hey, you," a voice called. Jacob turned to see a man in his late 40s, wearing a greasy apron and a faded cap. He stood beside a wall, a few meters from a small snack cart selling hot dogs, hot sausage, hot pretzel, and cold soda drinks. "You look like you could use a job," the man said, eyeing Jacob's ragged clothes. "I need someone to push that cart around the beach and sell snacks. I'll pay you at the end of the day." Jacob didn't hesitate. "I'll do it." For hours, he weaved through sunbathers, joggers, and tourists, calling out, "Hot dogs, ice-cold soda, fresh nachos." It wasn't glamorous, but it was something. By sunset, his pockets were heavier than they had been in days. As he returned the cash, the ugly fat guy told him, "Walk through the apartment. There is a lady who needs a driver if you can drive." Jacob walks through the garbage streets as it was his usual routine. It was late afternoon when Jacob's stomach growled loudly. The sun was beginning to dip, casting a golden glow on the city, but his only thought was food. He walked quietly, his bare feet tapping softly against the pavement, until he reached a row of dustbins behind a restaurant. His eye scanned the bins eagerly. They were filled with discarded scraps, half-eaten sandwiches, a leftover curry in a plastic container, and a few pieces of bread. Raju didn't mind. To him, every morsel was precious, every scrap a treasure. He carefully dug through the bins, hoping to pull out the cleanest pieces of food he could find, but to no avail. He keeps on walking along the pavements towards the direction of the lady as instructed. "You did a good job selling those snacks at Fat Boy's Corner," she said. "How about another gig? I need a private driver for the night. I'll pay well." A soft voice comes from a beautiful woman who sits gracefully on the pavement of a bustling street, her presence almost serene amid the city's chaos. She is focused on a large tablet in her hands, her eyes scanning the screen with intent. Her hair, a cascade of soft waves, catches the sunlight, framing her face, and her gentle expression reflects both concentration and calm. Her attire is modern, effortlessly chic, perhaps a fitted blazer over a simple blouse, paired with casual yet stylish trousers or a skirt. The surrounding street is alive with movement, pedestrians, cyclists, and the occasional honk of a car, but she seems in her own world, absorbed in whatever task is before her. The contrast between her calm and the vibrant energy of the city around her creates a striking visual harmony. Jacob hesitated. "I don't have a car. Can you take a taxi to the hospital for fast?" Jacob looked up, confused but intrigued.
No problem.
"The hospital?
I'll have one there in a
What
couple
for?"
of
She glanced
minutes.
around nervously. "There's no time to explain. Just trust me. When you get there, find a car parked in the lot. It'll be near the back entrance. There's a key hidden under the left back tire." Jacob's brow furrowed, but he nodded. "And then, once you have the key, drive the car," she instructed, "and find a customer who needs a ride. Bring them wherever they ask, but don't tell anyone anything about me." Jacob hesitated, but the lady's calm, persuasive manner made it hard to resist. "All right, I'll do it. But what's this all about?" Her eyes darkened for a moment, but she quickly regained composure. "I'll explain later. Just get the key, drive the car, and you'll be paid handsomely. You do now. Just don't crash it," the lady warned. Minutes later, he was in the back of a taxi, his heart racing as they sped toward the hospital. The car was smooth, powerful, and unlike anything Jacob had ever driven. His first passenger was a businessman in a hurry. Downtown hills.
I get it.
Fast, the man barked, tossing some cash onto the seat. Jacob navigated the traffic like a pro.
"Yeah, I'm back in business, baby. Let's do this." There it is. Adrenaline owner. Oh, that burning rubber. Messaging them, but they didn't answer. I'm like, screw it. Tell me you don't feel alive. I'll just get up there and do my ballin'. Now that's what I'm talking about. This is a sick bunch of dudes. They're always bantering with me, telling me to go home and stop hanging out with them. Great guys. Okay, what do you say? We take this baby off-road. Hey, come on, don't lose it now. Let's turn the extreme back up. Here we go, back on track. Just ram them next time.
Didn't you just get out the hospital?
I must be completely insane. Check myself out against medical advice too. Uh-oh. The doctor was all like, might have internal bleeding, and I'm more like, you might have internal lameness. So check you on the flip side. I was trying to reduce my building and heal myself. Got one story up and another on. I really have to make those skyscrapers something slippery. Uh-oh. I'm starting to lose my adrenaline boner here. Let's step it up again.
But when they reached the destination, the man opened the door and bolted without paying the fare.
Hey! Just remember that!
Jacob shouted, jumping out of the car. He saw red. This was his shot at rebuilding his life. He wasn't about to let some guy rob him. Not today. Without thinking, he took off in pursuit, his feet pounding the pavement. The man was fast, but Jacob was faster. He caught up, grabbed his shoulder, and swung a hard right hook. The man stumbled, dropping his wallet as Jacob falls down from the cliff. All right, the man gasped. Handing over the cash, Jacob snatched it and sprinted back to the car.
Who you think you fight, fool?
Heart pounding, his stomach dropped when he saw the driver's door still open, the engine running. If someone had stolen it, but the car was still there. He jumped in, slammed the door, and drove off. Exhaling deeply, when he reached the outskirts of the city, he spotted something that made his heart skip, a woman standing on the street corner near the beach. The same woman from earlier, dressed in the same sharp, purposeful clothes. And standing next to her was the man the customer he'd just dropped off. The boy parked the car on the side of the road, watching them from a distance. The woman glanced over, catching his eye. She didn't smile, but there was a flicker of acknowledgement in her gaze. He got out of the car, feeling the weight of the situation. The man, now holding a thick envelope in his hand, exchanged a few quiet words with the lady before walking away toward a nearby cafe, leaving the boy standing there. The street was quiet now, the sound of waves crashing gently in the distance. The woman took a step forward, her eyes locking onto his. Waiting, he handed her the car keys first, still unsure of what he was really a part of. Then, from his pocket, he pulled out the crumpled bill she'd given him earlier and handed it back, along with a few extra bills he'd pocketed from the fare. "Here," he said, his voice casual, almost bored. The job's done. The car's yours. She raised an eyebrow, seemingly surprised by his generosity, but she didn't comment on it. Instead, she took the money and keys with a steady hand. "Thank you," she said simply, her tone no different than before, cool and professional. The boy shrugged, taking a moment to look at her and the car in front of him. He could see it now, a polished sheen to her. But he didn't ask any more questions. His part in this was over, and he wasn't about to pry. Without another word, he turned and started walking. He moved lazily, one foot dragging after the other, heading down the last blocks toward the beach. The salty air mixed with the sound of the waves, and for the first time that night, he felt the tension leave his shoulders. He didn't need to understand what had just happened. It was a strange night. But sometimes, in a world that moved too fast, the best thing was simply to keep moving without looking back. Tonight, he had money in his pocket and a car out of his control. For the first time in a long time, he felt like maybe, just maybe, things were turning around.